All right,
Okay.
welcome everybody. Today we got a budget build,
But yeah, budget bug.
and I really got interested with this because it's simple parts that just crawl amazing, and I really want to hear Eric's build and just walk us through it.
Sure.
What came about it, and how did you build it?
So it's a remake of one of my first PorkBellies that we started off with. The intention was, how could we make a custom build LCG crawler affordable for anyone? And they're still kind of pricey, but how could you value engineer performance, right? Where you take a good setup, you take good parts, and most likely most of the parts from an RTR, and then you just give it a good setup. So what we did was we took a capper kit and took as much of the parts as we could and utilized it on a PorkBelly. So this is a remake of one of my originals. It's got stock capper axles, and I did do some modifications to it, of course. The modifications to the stock axles, I put a 36% overdrive portal gears, but it remains plastic stock housings. It's got the stock rear portal gears, and at some point maybe those will blow, but that's the opportunity for hardened gears. We also utilized the stock shocks within the build, and the transmission, instead of the capper transmission, which is slightly geared for the type of crawling that we like to usually do, I replaced it with the Endura or a similar 3-gear transmission, or if you have an axial 3-gear transmission or a 3-gear base transmission, that's what I utilized. So going from rear to front, some people will notice the rear drive shaft. So in these builds, the rear is pretty stretched. So this is about 13-inch wheelbase. We used a Rift drive shaft, which is the WB11. That's the part number. And if you have the Capra joints, you could use the WB11 drive shaft with the Capra joints. And that rear drive shaft is long enough, to do the stretch. So that's even long enough to do a 13.25, maybe a 13.5, but it's lightweight, which is what we're looking for because we're looking for front bias. Without having to add brass, and then we're also looking for durability. So the diameter of the drive shaft is larger than even the wild bore, right? Larger than stock. So you get an upgrade of durability, and if any of you have a Rift or have seen it, that thing's a rock bouncer. So it's meant for power. So it's got more than enough durability. On the front drive shaft, I did have a preference on a steel drive shaft, so I put an incision drive shaft in there, but you can use any kind of front. It's a 60/40 geometry, so even a RTR front drive shaft would probably fit with little to no modifications. So from the transmission, which is a 3-gear, I actually really love the Holmes products as far as motors. It's got a 13-turn Crawlmaster Sport. Many of you have these. They're $15. What I love about them for technical crawling is that they're super smooth, and they've got the right RPM. So in your throttle response, in your throttle programming, you could actually use all the motor. And there's definitely better, higher performance motors out there, but if you're just looking for something that's easily replaceable, you're not going to do a whole lot of maintenance to it, $15 is hard to beat. And that's paired with a 1080 ESC. That used to be, I used to be able to get that for $29. Now they have the V2 or the newest version, $39. But it really doesn't take much. It's just tuning. So it's got a tuning that Big Sung, if you guys all remember him, he was in the Bay Area doing crawling at that time, and he still has the video posted on his YouTube channel, but he goes through the proper tuning for the ESC, which matches and pairs well with the Crawlmaster Sport, and with the gearing that the 3-gear has. It's low gearing, It's super stock. You can buy it from Amazon. If you wanted to, you don't have to use the 3 gear. You could also use an Element Stealth X Trans, which also works.
It comes with
Yep.
OD.
Yep,
If you swap out the
which
gears.
comes with OD.
It's
So
15%.
yep, and so you can get overdrive with the Element Trans. Super simple. The focus was on good performance, but really focusing on how do you improve your driver skill and tuning capability. And these things, like you build it this way, and we'll have the setup sheet on our website. We used to have the first version on our old website. We shared it with everybody, and all the people that had started off with this setup went on and felt like the experience was amazing. So, I'm missing a spring cup there on the driver's side. But anyways, so talk about the
I thought you.
springs.
Well,
I might have pulled those out to
I
do
think
the
you
droop. I think I did.
because that's why I noticed it earlier when I was like, oh, you're not running like
The no
springs. Like I
preload,
was like, it's
spring
going
cups.
on right on the.
Yeah. So I might have done that just to try out the setup. But anyways, the stock shocks from a Capra are really good. I think they're just misunderstood, or people aren't taking the full time to do a setup on it. But so we craft a lot of our own parts and a lot of stuff that's custom. So on the shock bodies, you'll notice the yellow spring perches or sleeves. So what I wanted to do, and I love using the threaded shock bodies, the advantage of the shock body is that you can adjust your preload, right? So you can adjust your preload with the shock spring cup, but having the body, if you have that, take advantage of it. And before, there wasn't a way to do it because the Mini T spring, it just wasn't there. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make this thing work. So I created something where it's a spring perch that utilizes 10 mil worth of travel. And then back to the shocks. So the shocks with the sleeves and the threaded body, there's a huge advantage. If you really into the tuning, you want to have that capability. So I built in 10 millimeters worth of preload on the stock Capra.
I don't think I've ever
shock
seen
body.
anything like that. I think the only thing closest to I've seen anything with preload would be fucking.
Just the cup?
No, not even the cup. It's those O-rings.
Oh, the O-rings.
The O-ring method, but that doesn't.
This is very adjustable on the fly.
Well, yeah.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if the camera's
Trail
gonna pick it
tuning
up.
is the focus, right?
So, right here.
And also.
So if you guys look at that cup, it actually, if you spin it, it spins around like the adjustable spring perches, right? From like the stock ones.
Yep.
So you can actually adjust the preload on the spring.
Yep.
So for example, if you wanted to run like a different set of springs instead of the Mini T, you can just
Deluxe
adjust.
springs,
Yeah, with
right?
deluxe
Or
or
the
just
Element
or
springs.
cut springs from like maybe even the stock Capra ones, and you
Yep.
want to adjust the preload, you can just adjust and twist that.
Because sometimes because we're at the mercy of the spring cup and the length of the spring. Now there's adjustability, which is already there in a stock shock. Why not use it? Anyway, so continuing from there, I wanted to have the adjustability. Plus, I made me and Sean talk about this. The droop spacers that we put inside our race shocks, we did it with this. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and 5 millimeter droop spacers that you can adjust the shock travel, right?
Oh, internally.
So you put it underneath the piston
Right.
on the shock shaft, and then from there, I don't like running where the shock will bottom out on something firm, like metal to metal, or the piston on the shock body itself. So I actually did a different version of the Penn spring mod. So it's a different spring, but I made a 5 mil droop spacer spring plus the droop spacer. So when the shock extends, it still has a little bit of spring buffer.
Oh, that's what the spring is that I'm feeling.
Right.
Okay.
And then what happens on the rocks is just that little bit of forgiveness in 5 mil of spring rate inside is enough to just absorb some. Versus when you're metal to metal or that piston to, it's all on the tire. So it's just helping the things. And this is definitely trying to maximize in our area. We've got some low grip rocks. We got low grip lines or low grip locations. So this is for me, it's a Bay Area setup. Like, I'm going to go to Linda Vista, do the res line, do the lots of debris on it, super dusty. This is going to generate maximum traction. The other stuff, oh, what's up, Mike? The other thing with this too is it uses the PorkBelly LCG kit, which also includes all the things: the skid, the belly rub sliders, the bacon tray, which locates the battery behind the axle, behind the servo, mounted on the axle, so it converts the battery that is usually on the slider, which is sprung rate, to unsprung. And it's not, I won't say it's any better or worse, it's just different, and it depends on the terrain and the line that you're crawling. For me, I'm looking for a high front bias, low sprung weight chassis setup that can side hill, that can climb verticals, do a lot of the technical crawling that I love to do. It's got a NSDRC 700 servo, which has actually been quite amazing. It's a low profile servo. It's the first low profile servo that I've tried in a crawler from NSDRC, and it's actually really good, at least at this weight class. So it's 4.95 pounds. Oh, Mike's in the house. Mike Riblet. Mike Riblet. He's also an NSDRC team. Oh, I see something like
something
a fun
shiny
trinket over there. Anyways,
something another sneak peek that we could just kind of like flash the camera with
in the next 30 minutes or 20.
Oh, look at Mike. He's like, I don't know. Should we?
I know. Super secrets. But yeah, ruptured tires, which works in our area. If you
talk about your rims.
Yep. So in order to gain the front bias without spending a whole lot of money on brass for the front, reduce it in the rear. So in the same method as the Rift drive shaft, it added durability without the weight. I've also reused the Capra wheels in black. And it's got dual stage Proline foams, which can be found at almost any hobby shop. I didn't want to use anything super special like CI foams, which isn't always at every hobby shop. My preference would definitely be probably CI foams because you can tune it. But if you had to just pick up Proline dual stage foams, which are also very good, they not only work, but they actually fit the groove of the Capra beadlock. So if you don't know about the dual stage Proline foam, it's kind of like V'd right in the second stage.
Like a rail in the middle.
Yeah. So being also narrow, it fills up the tire really nice and stays centered. The front is a Endura or RC Lion wheel, so it came as a set of 4, but I only used 2 of them, and it's got the same insert. At 4.95 weight, it is a little light for a dual stage Proline foam.
I was noticing that because usually when it's a little heavier rig, you'll see like almost like an air down kind of look to them. But yeah.
Yep. So it is a little light, but this is the focus on what's available to people. Now you could use the stock foam, but on the lines that I like to do, I need the side support.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna pick what's the best, and maybe later on we'll offer something like an insert support for the stock foam, but we'll talk about that later. Stock gearing from when you get the transmission from wherever you get it. This one I bought from Amazon. It's easy to do. I didn't even change any of the gearing. But yeah, that's
what would you
essentially it.
Say roughly around how much would you spend on the budget?
So the goal for this setup, if you had to scratch build it, is $700 or under.
Nice.
So if you started with a Capra RTR, you already got the shocks, you already got the axles. Now you're really fine tuning towards a certain setup, and we wanted to offer this setup right then and there on the site as you're shopping for the chassis kit. Now it's a 60/40. It's on the PorkBelly, so it's a 60/40 geometry. You could actually use the front links from the Capra on this. You can use and it's the axle, so you can use the front steering links as well, and then just buy the rears. But in our kit we include 313 millimeter high clearance links, so you're already covered. But if you just wanted to use the Capra front links, which are great because they're adjustable on the fly, you could do that and just buy the proper rear links. So we try to make it also an easy setup. Now there are a few other things that are custom, like the rear link riser, and rear link riser theory and concept is a whole other discussion, but I run a rear link riser. I notice that it makes a difference on my setups and the lines that I drive, and the complete package there. There's tuning that I want to do, but it's already there. I'm not buying tuning, I am tuning, right? That's the purpose as well. So
that's the learning process right there.
Yeah, because you don't have to spend any more money. It's just driver and tuning. That's it. And the Mini T spring set, that's $12, $13. It comes with three pairs.
These couplers, are these be available on the site?
We'll have them available on the site as well. They're easy to make.
So would you be making
super
a
affordable
full kit?
For the shop tuning, like if people
kit?
want the cap, like either a Capra or like a Base Camp or
Explorer element.
We would say, oh, you want the droop spacers? We have them in the 1, 2, 3, and 5 millimeter sizes. I think most of the shock shafts are the same size. The internal spring, you could just use you can do the pen spring mod if you want, just measure 5 or 10 millimeter, and we may have other setups. There might be a specific spring that we may offer later, but so far, those work. But it's easy to do. 30 weight in the front, 60 weight in the back. I like a slow, damp
I was gonna say
rear.
60 in the rear, huh?
Wow. That's just my style, but I also like to drift, and we talk about that on the rocks. I want that slow action, and I'm also compensating for it's summertime. No matter what type of oil that you use, you go to the racetrack and go talk to it. Yep, it's gonna have a little bit of variance. Some people like 45, some people like 30-30. I just like 30 in the front. I like a fairly quick rear, a medium to quick rear, and then I like a front, and then I like a slow rear.
Nice.
But
you can tell. Look the way the Rake setup too.
Yeah,
actually, I can see that pushes the front down.
Yep, I like a Rake setup in mind. So there's a lot of talk about skid clearance and skid angle. I believe in it, but I believe more in setup and driver than just a number. So in my Rake, that's probably like 7 degrees, 5 to 7 degrees added within the rake of the suspension. So if we're at 7 degrees on the skid, it's another 5 to 7 degrees on the rake in the suspension. Are we at 10 to 12 on the skid angle? When you look at it on the table, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not thinking about that in your skid angle, just planting that seed of thought within your setup. But it's been really good. But yeah, I'll usually run real easy numbers in the front. It's a quarter droop. So there's or a quarter compression and then 3/4 in the rear. So it's raised up in the rear. You can see it in the camera.
And then your iconic body right here.
I love that body.
Budget
So
plug.
bodies are not cheap, but that one you can have that for $25, sometimes even cheaper when it goes on stale. It's a Summit Link Stampede body, Stampede bug body, pre-painted or pre-printed. It's I like bug bodies. There's actually a function behind it. When it rolls over backwards, it rolls right back on the front wheels. Especially it turtles really well and then goes right back on its wheels again. So one, it's got rollover capability. Second, it's durable, super durable. The thing, I don't think I've ever chipped it before. I've cracked it on a really hard landing, but man, it'll look pretty rough before I would give up the body. But $25, sometimes they go on sale for $15. You don't have to paint it, just put some stickers on it, go run.
It looks good.
Yeah,
you gotta chop it up.
You gotta chop it up, but the fitment is right, the performance is right. If you're looking for a performance body, I know the half cap works really well. I know the creeper body, any other body, the cliffhanger. But if you're looking for something that's just like, you don't want to paint, you just want something performance and you want to throw it on there, right here. And they come in all different colors. Like I got the white and the
body too.
you took a heat gun to it, right, to fold it in?
No, so I like to boat side the body, and then I'll do the cheater chop, to follow the rail. But this, so these bodies aren't Lexan. I think they advertise it as PVC. You could actually roll it at the body line, at the door line. So Sean did this before. He'll take it and then he'll fold it at the door line like this, and then he'll tuck the rear. So what that does later on, and I've got a video of it, it creates the boat side, but when it'll hang up on the body on some lines, but you could actually tuck it in super hard on a line and it'll give, and the body is actually a slider. Or I treat the body as a slider, but super tight. And then, and then when it comes down the body line, it actually connects with the belly rub slider on the chassis. So it's super smooth. It's a different way of looking at terrain when you're doing not whatever you call the clearance or breakover on the side of the chassis. It's really good for that.
So you can actually, with this body, what I've seen is with a certain type of body set of the cage, this almost creates like a body pivot.
It's a body pivot.
Kind of like the way the hard body does it, where you can pin the body and you can just pivot.
Yes. So that's why I tucked it in near the back. So when I lean the body on a line,
it clears.
It's actually going to encourage the slide because it's tapered back.
Come in, yeah.
So it's wide in the front and then like a fish body towards the back, just like
so when it does pivot, it's going to bring that rear end down, so you can pivot around the rock.
But I'm also looking for there's a line that I did and I put at Bean and I posted it on YouTube, but I want to catch the rear tire. So it's wider here, so you can, it's funny, so you shape it for the scrub radius, right? So check out the sidewall to scrub radius and you'll see it. This is what I'm talking about right here. So the scrub radius is basically like, what's this radius here as you push out the width of the offset on the wheel, right? So, and then can you match the sidewall to the body? So if I'm on a line and I turn in on it, the terrain will go from the sidewall to the body, and then I can hook on the rear tire. So if I'm downhilling and I want to hang on the rear tire before I drop completely,
to anchor the rear. Yeah.
So that's that kind of setup for that kind of line. Because when you run a high bias lightweight setup, you have to do different tricks for downhilling.
Because then now you're gonna have that rear end just.
In some cases it wants to roll over, but this is some
especially
of the
running the rake setup too, because the rear is already high. So if you're downhilling, that's already working against you.
It's already a challenge.
Yeah, but if you know how to maneuver it, it's still manageable.
Yeah.
And that's where you start learning how to drive a rig and figuring out little tricks.
It's a certain setup. Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Dude.
But so
thank you
budget
so much
bug. Yep. Easy to build. Let us know if you want to build one. Like, hit us up. We'll help you. We'll walk you through it.
Awesome. All right, guys.
Cool. Thanks, and that's the budget bug, guys.
Budget bug. Right on.